This just in. 4 states have voted to legalize the recreational use of marijuana as a result of the election this past week. The 4 states include California, Maine, Massachusetts, and Nevada. With the legalization of marijuana being one of the most pressing issues of 2016, which state is to legalize next?
Although there are issues surrounding this legislation, marijuana should be legalized for recreational use, which is justified by the benefits gained as a result of regulating this drug through the government. First, let's talk about the many benefits of legalizing the recreational use of marijuana. The first state to legalize the recreational use of marijuana was Colorado, which voted to legalize in 2014. In 2015 in Colorado, the marijuana industry alone was able to create 18,000 new jobs, a sign of a growing industry. As a result of this large movement, sales have hit record highs. In 2015, there were almost $1 billion in sales involving marijuana products, resulting in a $2.3 billion economic impact. Finally, the market size of the marijuana industry has shown great levels of growth, projected to be up 33% from 2015. Seeing over $1.2 billion in sales in 2016. The next issue to cover when discussing the benefits of legalizing marijuana must be the money collected in the form of tax revenue. As a result of this issue being a responsibility of the state, each has different regulations regarding sales tax. For instance, in Colorado, there's a 2.9% tax that is applied to medical marijuana, whereas there is a hefty 10% tax applied to recreational marijuana purchases. As a result of these tax rates, in 2015, the state of Colorado gained $53 million in revenue. More currently, in the state of California, which voted to legalize in the 2016 election, plans to propose a 15% tax rate on all marijuana products. At this rate, the state of California will annually collect approximately $1 billion in revenue. But a lot of people ask, where does this money go? The money collected in revenue from taxes is re-implemented into public funds such as public schools, drug safety, highway patrols, state and local law enforcement, and drug prevention. The last benefit I would like to talk about is how legalization would help regulate and standardize the marijuana in circulation. Legalizing marijuana would help standardize the actual marijuana being used, as a large majority of marijuana would be coming from dispensaries. Although marijuana is a hallucinogen and can be dangerous when mixed with other substances alone, there have only been a handful of lethal cases. These cases result from people who have used synthetic brands of marijuana, most popular of which being K2. Legalization would lead to an increased amount of sellers for a cheaper price, pushing the K2 sellers out of the market when they can't compete with the prices. Also, legislation will lead to the implementation of commercial farming, causing the price of marijuana to drop greatly. This disease in price forces smaller, illegal dealers out of business. The profit margin set as a result of dispensaries will not be worth the risk for drug smugglers. This effect will reduce the amount of people smuggling drugs into the country, which can help lower crime rates. Next, I would like to address some of the points that opponents mentioned when discussing the topic of legalization. The first contention being that legalization will lead to an increase in users, not necessarily a conversion of illegal users. Although many will feel that this will only create new users, the commercialization of marijuana will create a situation where illegal distribution will be unprofitable. Prices will drop to levels where illegal distributors will not make enough money to be worth the risk, eliminating the role of illegal distribution in our country. The next item on the agenda is that marijuana legalization can be compared to the legalization of gambling. People who compare the two fail to realize that marijuana is a good, therefore its price can control the market and its demand in turn. Although lower prices will lead to an increase in use, it will eliminate the illegal aspect of the market for marijuana. The illegal use of gambling has less of an influence on the legal side, as the demand for gambling remains about the same. Finally, the last claim made by opponents of legalization include the idea that legalization of marijuana will lead to an increase in intoxicated driving. Although an increase in use will inevitably lead to more cases of DUIs, states that have legalized recreational use of marijuana attempt to combat this by dedicating portions of taxes collected towards state and local enforcement. For example, in California, $3 million annually will be spent training law enforcement in stopping intoxicated drivers. After the first two paragraphs, it is clear that, in my opinion, marijuana should be legalized for recreational use in both my state of New Jersey and the United States. Taxes placed on marijuana will be used to reconstruct American infrastructure, strengthening the foundation of our country. Marijuana is currently the most used drug in the United States, so why not legalize it and collect the full benefits of the situation? Next, legalization will also create a new market sector that has shown to increase as more and more states look to legalize marijuana. Finally, standardization of marijuana market will force the illegal distributors out of the market and this country. The pros clearly outweigh the cons, in my opinion, as there are clear benefits to controlling and regulating this substance. Today, many Americans are afraid of change. Many feel that if we legalize marijuana, what substance will be next? However, marijuana is in a very unique situation, in that this is the most used drug in the United States. Yet this drug is stable, can be controlled, and can be, in turn, profitable. Marijuana should be legalized for recreational use in every state, as the revenue generated by businesses creates new jobs as well as millions of dollars in sales tax, if taxes were to be imposed as high as 15% as it is in California. If these drugs are being used regardless of state laws, why not cash in and reap the benefits of this substance?